good spirits and is disappointed that she will not be able to make that trip. Moving along now to Brazil, where senators met last night to discuss plans to recommend indicting President Bolsonaro on criminal charges that essentially amount to, failing to lead an effective pandemic response. The Associated Press has seen a copy of the report they're preparing, and it recommends 11 specific charges ranging from charlatanism to genocide. So some of the senators who are on the relevant committee working on this specifically oppose that later charge, but we'll keep an eye on this one. And finally, we have some animal news, though I do apologize in advance for what you're about to see. Researchers in China have discovered the fossilized remains of a dog-sized sea scorpion.
Oh my.
Don't worry, the species died out a long time ago, long time ago. But these scorpions, when they were alive, could grow to be over 3 feet long. And the team that discovered the fossils say that they could have been a top predator in the waters of southern China. I have no doubt about that. And that would have been about more than 400 million years ago. So that is, I guess, the good news here.
Okay, I was going to ask dog-sized. Like, are we talking teacup poodle or are we talking a Labrador retriever? But 3 feet long is pretty intense. Matt, we like animal news. That's not exactly the variety that we like. But thank you so much. Good to see you.
Me too. Thank you guys.
Yeah. Coming up, 4 hours at the Capitol. Up next, we'll talk to the producer of a new documentary which focuses on the morning of January 6th and what happened as protests turned into an all-out riot. This is Morning News Now. Dr. Rachel Levine made history yesterday, becoming the first openly transgender 4-star officer across any of the country's uniformed services. The Assistant Secretary for Health was sworn in yesterday to the rank of Admiral in the U.S. Public Health Service Commission Corps, making her the highest-ranking officer in the department. Levine is a pediatrician who previously served as Pennsylvania's health secretary before joining the federal government. After the ceremony, she said, quote, "May this appointment today be the first of many more to come as we create a diverse and more inclusive future." Now, it's been more than 9 months since the attack on the U.S. Capitol. While lawmakers on the January 6th Commission move forward with their investigation, we're now getting a minute-by-minute look at what happened that day. That's in a new documentary called 4 Hours at the Capitol, and it's out today on HBO and HBO Max. It's giving us a new look at the insurrection from those who were there. Take a look.
January 6th started off pretty much like any other day. It wasn't until I started listening to the speeches that I felt that day was going to be a bad day.
You have to show strength, and if you don't fight like hell, you're not going to have a country anymore.
I work in what should be one of the most secure buildings in the whole world.
It just never occurred to me that a mob would get into the Capitol building.
Joining us now is the executive producer of that documentary, Dan Reed. Dan, good morning. Thank you so much. Congratulations on this film being out today, and we are happy to be discussing it with you this morning. So obviously, we've all had a lot of questions about that day. There's an investigation going on. We all watched what was unfolding in shock. But as a filmmaker, what made you want to explore more deeply, more in depth, what happened on January 6th?
It's an event that everyone knows about, and it just happens to have been one of the most videoed events in history. Mm-hmm. So the opportunity for us as filmmakers was clear, but we wanted to narrow down the focus of our storytelling to, the 4 hours when really everything hung in the balance, the 4 hours of maximum violence from when the first barricades were overrun. And so what this film does is it takes you through those 4 hours from, just before 1 p.m. Until really the tide of the battle turned. And it tells the story through the extraordinary wealth of video archive, but also through the eyes of people who were directly involved. And that means rioters and legislators and police officers, many interviews that you've never seen before with people who haven't spoken yet. So it's really immersive, and it takes you through step by step what happened and how violent it was.
Absolutely. I actually want to play a little bit of one of those interviews so people here can see and get a little preview. You got to speak with lawmakers and officers on the front lines, as you mentioned. So first, here's one officer and how he detailed his experience outside the Capitol building. Let's listen, and I'll ask you a question on the other side.
I think if we had pulled our weapons and started shooting, I think there would have been a large loss of life, maybe on both sides. It felt like we were 100 to 1.